Okay, welcome to, I believe this is the 24th class, or yeah, 24th class in this Bhagavad Gita study series. So we're getting close to the quarter mark, approximately 100 classes totally. We're getting close to the quarter mark. And so for everybody who's been attending regularly, thank you. And this is of great benefit to you and everybody else. Okay, so as usual, we acknowledge Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati for the traditional rendering of Vedanta, as was done for over 1,000 years, starting with Adi Shankaracharya. And we'll say a small prayer. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Partyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankaracharya in the middle, and continuing up to our immediate teacher, Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati. With this, we will go to where we left. So remember where we left? So we left at the point where we were talking about the transformations caused by this jnana. So this chapter, fifth chapter, as I said, is a summary chapter, summarizing 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4 are essentially the Bhagavad Gita, and 5. So it is the most important, these are the most important chapters. It talks both about the Jnana Yoga and the Karma Yoga. So this chapter summarized the Karma Yoga, then now it's summarizing the Jnana Yoga, and it talks about the transformations caused by this knowledge. So previously, if you remember, I'll probably have to associate the story. We talked about the Akshaya Patram, the bowl which always gives food, always full. It's Akshaya means it never stops giving food. So that is the Akshaya Patram. So we talked about the story of Krishna helping Draupadi with the Akshaya Patram. So that is the story. So with this, we completed the transformations caused by the knowledge. And what knowledge is this? This is the knowledge of the Atma. And let's recap the 4 transformations that are given in Shloka 18. It is Samadarshanam. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadharshinaha. The Pandita, the wise people, they see the same in a Brahmana, wise person, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. So it's grading from the highest to the lowest. The person sees the same. And what is the advantage? This is the transformation. And because of that, certain advantages do come. You are not perturbed. Your mind doesn't go into all these things saying, okay, this person is low, I am superior. Because this person knows that it's the same Atma everywhere. Then, conquering the fear of mortality. Ihaivastairjita sarkaha yesham samye sthitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmat brahmani te sthitaha. Ihaivastair, just here itself, jitaha, you conquer sargaha, birth. So here it says you're conquering birth, you're not born again. And this Brahman is nirdoshan, it's defectless. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma, and it's samam, it's the same in all beings. Tasmat Brahmani testita, therefore abide in yourself in Brahman. And we'll see how can we abide in Brahman? Brahman is a big all-pervasive. I can't even see Brahman. How do I abide? So in the 6th chapter, Krishna is going to give the secret. You abide in Brahman by turning onto your Atma, because Atma is Brahman. It's one and the same. So that is the secret. He's going to give that in the 6th chapter. I'm spilling the secret early. 20th, we saw not being perturbed by the ups and downs of life. These are all the transformation. Na prahrishyet priyam prapya नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य च प्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढः ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः न प्रहृष्येत् priyam prapya. When they get good things, they are not elated, prahrishyet, elated. Na udvichet, they are not let down. Prapya cha apriyam, when they get sorrow, they are not um, um, depressed. So, sthira buddhi, steady in the mind. And Brahma with, and these are who are these people? Those who know the Brahman and they abide in the Brahman. Brahma with Brahmani sthitaha. They are just stationed in the Brahman. And finally, the 25th verse, Bhakyaspashaispasaktatma bhindatatmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute. Akshayam sukham ashnute, ever lasting, finding lasting happiness and fulfillment in the Atma. So, with this, we've completed the second portion. So, the two types of spiritual practices, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Now, he's going to talk about the Jnana Sadhana and Palam, the mental preparation. Sadhana is the mental preparation, and Palam is the fruits of knowledge in Shlokas 22 to 26. So, we'll see that. This is a very, 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 very important shloka. It is worth memorizing, and maybe we'll chant it 2 times when we chant. So I would like, in fact, I would like everybody to chant this if possible. Ye hi samsparshaja bhogaha dukkayonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Because, and he's explained all the transformations, and then he says, because those pleasures, samsparshaja bhoga is the experience of pleasure here, samsparshada, due to sparsha is touch, which are born of contact with what? Of the senses with a desirable sense objects. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga, these, yehi, these, because indeed samsparshaja bhoga dukkayonaya evate, they only result in sorrow. These pleasures, which are born out of contact of the senses with the sense objects, they result only in sorrow. Adi anta antah kaunteya. They have a beginning and an end. O son of Kunti, Kaunteya is Arjuna, son of Kunti. Na teshu ramate buddha. Teshu, in them. Ramate means rejoice. The wise don't revel or rejoice in them. The buddha, the wise, the Buddha is what comes from one who's wise. So now the solution is, how because we are attracted to all the sense objects, how do you pull ourselves away from that, right? For that, the solution is purnatvam, fulfillment. Okay, and slowly he's bringing the topic of meditation. My meditation teacher, he would say that the joy of meditation is non-sensual. It is not from the senses. It is something the Buddha gives a lot of example, like on a hot day. So there's a lake, and sometimes there are underwater springs, these cool springs that come. It is like that. It comes from underneath. So this joy of meditation is non-sensual, not from objects of the senses. It comes from deep within. And what does it give? It gives fullness. So my meditation teacher would say, you don't need a perfect job. You don't need to be in the perfect country. You don't need to have a perfect husband or wife or partner. Nothing is important. You can find fulfillment by tuning into these pleasures that come from within, which makes you fulfilled. Okay. So the next shloka, Shaknoti haiva yak sodum raksharira vimokshanat kama krodhotpapam vegam sayuktasya sukhi naraha. Shaknoti ihaiva. the person who's able to withstand here itself, here and now, the impulses of lust and anger. Shaknoti ihaiva sodum prak sharira vimokshanat. Prak sharira vimokshanat means before liberation from the body. Kama krodot bhavam vegam. Vegam is just the impulse of kama and krodha. That is lust and anger. He's again and again he's using, if you remember the third chapter, Arjuna asks, why do people commit sin? Arjuna upacha atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya bhaladipaniyojitaha. Why do people commit sin even though they don't want to? Anichannapi, they don't have no desire. Baladiva niyojitaha, but there's a strong force which is pushing them. Niyojitaha, it's just compelling them to do sin. Then Bhagavan says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Viddena Miha Vairinam. Bhagavan says it is the lust and it is the anger coming out of the Rajoguna, Rajas in the body. And meditation later in the next chapter will say it is Upaiti Shanta Rajasam. It pacifies the Rajas. So, and what kind of power is this? It is Mahashano. It's ever consuming. It wants more. Lust is, it wants more. Mahapapma, it's a great sinner. Viddenam iha vairinam. These are the enemies. And understand, Viddi enam iha vairinam. So the same thing is quoted here. The person who's able to withstand the impulses of lust and anger here and now, before liberation from this body, sa yuktaha is a disciplined for person. Yuktaha, yoked, disciplined. Sa sukhi naraha. That person is also a very happy person. Okay, so the person who's able to withstand the impulses of lust and anger here and now, even before liberation from the body, is a disciplined person. Some people say, oh, it is because of my body, it's tormenting me with craving all that I'm having this. Once I get liberated, I'll be fine. No, here itself. Okay, so we saw two mental preparations. Do not depend on external objects for happiness. Ehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkayona evate. Withstand the impulses of lust and anger right here. And then but the question will ask, what is the source of happiness to become a sukhi naraha, happy person? Krishna is towards the end of the chapter, he's going to provide the solution. And what is that? He's going to introduce meditation. And sixth chapter, full chapter is for meditation and the yogi. So all of you who do some form of yoga, meditation, this is the primer. So please attend the next chapter. Then now Bhagavan is going to talk about the highest jnana palam. So previously we saw some transformation. Now he's going to talk about the highest fruit of the knowledge of what? Knowledge of the Atma, and that is attaining Brahman. So next three shlokas talk about liberation into Brahman. Previously in 18 to 20, we saw the smaller benefits or the transformations, right? We just saw that. Then now he's going to talk about the bigger benefits. Yontas sukhontararamah tathantar jyotir epayah sayogi brahmanarpanam brahma bhuto digacchati. That wise yogi whose happiness is within. Yo anta sukha, anta inside, sukham, happiness is inside. Antararamaha, who revels inside in the self. So do you see now? He is telling how to find this, situate in the Brahman. It is by tuning inside. Start by looking at the cosmos, going, looking at the open sky and saying, oh, that is the Brahman, all-pervading cosmos. No, he's saying you find the Brahman by tuning inward. That wise yogi whose happiness is within, who revels in the self, tata antar jyotir evayaha, whose illuminations comes from within, alone, eva, alone, sayogi brahma nirvanam. So it comes, the happiness, it comes from only from inside, not from outside. Sayogi brahma nirvanam, brahma bhuto digacchati. That yogi attains brahma nirvanam, liberation into Brahman. And brahma bhuto adigacchati, that person becomes Brahman by being established in Brahman. Brahma bhuto means it just becoming, and here I should probably more say that person just becomes Brahman, established, or you can just say becoming established in Brahman is just merging with Brahman. Okay, so far, any questions? So there's 3 shlokas that we are going to see. He's going to talk about the highest fruits of knowledge, which is liberation. Then Bhagavan says, Labhante brahmanarpanam rishayah kshina kalmashah chinnad vaidhayatatmanah tarpabhuta hiterataha. So here the Bhagavan talks about the Dvandva. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam. So having the person attains Brahma Nirvanam. How? Who attains? Rishis, the Rishayaha, Rishis, who Kshina Kalmasha, whose impurities have been removed by what? And how have they been removed? Chinnat Vaita Yatatmanaha, whose dualities have been rent asunder by knowledge. Yatatmanaha, who have self-mastery. And Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha, who rejoice in Sarvabhuta, all beings, Hitam, in the welfare, Rataha, they rejoice in the welfare of all beings. What happens to them? Labhante Brahma Nirvanam, they attain liberation into Brahman. And in here, so Bhagavan mentions this, whose impurities have been removed. Chinna Dvaidha. Chinna means rent asunder. Vaida is the duality. So in the Yoga Sutras also, there are 3 sutras on asanas. One says, Thatodvantva nabhighataha. The first says, Sthira Sukham Asanam. Asana is a comfortable and steady pose. Then, Tato Dvandva Anabhighataha. When you are in that pose, the mind duality, because the mind wants to go in one direction, the body craves for sensual pleasures. It's just a split personality. Always, should I do this? Should I not do this? All those will go away by the self-mastery. So he's slowly introducing meditation. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Here, yati means a sannyasi or ascetic usually, but here it refers to one who has renounced all actions mentally. This person need not be a sannyasi. So, kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yatachetasam. So, yati, it's usually a sannyasi, but here somebody who has renounced the actions mentally, which was what we saw in the 4th chapter. For those who for those self-controlled ascetics. Kama krodha viyuktanam. Kama is lust, krodha is anger, viyuktanam, who are freed from lust and anger. Yatinam, yata chetasam, the self yati is the ascetics, not the outward, but mentally renouncing ascetics. Yata chetasam, yata means control of chetana, mind, self-controlled ascetics, whose mind is controlled, they abhito brahma nirvanam, vartate viditatmanam, who know the Atma, vartate, the vidita Atmanam. So, vidita Atmanam means those who know the Atma, abhito Brahma Nirvanam vartate. Liberation into Brahman happens here and hereafter. So, abhito Brahma Nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. Viditatmanam is ya vidhi Atmanam, one who knows the Atma, and this person attains Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. We talked about Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti is liberation while alive. Of course, you have to live through this lifetime, till the prarabdha karma is there. After that, Videha Mukti. Videha means leaving the body. Leave the body, attain complete Mukti. So, who are these people? Those who renounced actions mentally, not wearing a sannyasi dress. So we saw that Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Swashan, Pralapan, Visrijan, Gurnan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi. While doing all these actions, this person is not doing anything. Now, Bhagavan is going to introduce the concept of meditation. This is so I've told you this, right? Sometimes the seed for the next chapter is planted at the end of the current chapter. So Shlokas 27, 28 are the seeds for the next chapter, which will start with Arjuna's question. So sixth chapter is the Dhyana Yoga. Okay, now he is talking about meditation. Sparshan krutva bahirvakyan chakshuschaivantare bhruvoh pranabhanau samau krutva nasabhyantaracharinav yethendriyamano buddhihi munirmokshaparayanaha Vigate Shabaya Krodha Yaksada Mukta Evasaha. Okay, very important verses, because Bhagavan is introducing one of the most important concepts of meditation. Sparshan Kritva Bahir Vahyan. Okay. Bahir Sparshan, external sense object. So remember, when it's a poem, so the word arrangement, they're all jumbled to follow the meter. That's perfectly fine. Bahir Sparshan Kritva. So external sense objects, keeping them outside, shutting out the external sense object, Bahyan, outside, placing the gaze in the middle of the eyebrows, chakshush, bhruvo antare kritva. So chakshush chaiva antare bhruvo. So in the middle, with focusing the gaze in the middle of the eyebrows. So this doesn't mean you keep your eyes open and look. The way Shankaracharya says that is keeping a point of focus. And later in the sixth chapter, we'll see, he'll say, oh, placing the attention on the tip of the nostrils. So he'll say, Samam kaya shiro grivan dharayan achalam sthira samprekshya nasikagram tvam dishashchana palokayan. So It doesn't mean you have to just focus in the middle of the eyebrows. It is a point to focus. It can also be your chest, your breath, everything. So that's the intention. Then prana pranau samau kritva, regulating the inhalation and exhalation. Prana apana samau kritva, just regulating. Samau means balance, here it means regulating. Nasabyantaracharinau, regulating the inhalation and exhalation of the air. Nasak antaracharina, the air moving. Charati means movement. Nasabhya antara, the air moving inside the nostrils, regulating the inhalation and exhalation. Then the next shloka continues from there. Yatendriya mano buddhihi munir moksha parayanaha. So, yatha indriya mano buddhihi, regulating the indriya, the sense organs, mana, mind, buddhihi is the intellect, munir moksha parayanaha, the muni with moksha as the highest goal. Parayanam means highest goal. Ayanam, so Ramayanam, it means the path of Rama. This is the goal that's set by Rama. So Parayanam. So Narayana. Ayanam means it is the goal. Narasya Ayanam Narayana. Vishnu is called the goal of the human being to attain. So Munir Moksha Parayanaha, the Muni who wants liberation as the highest goal. Parayana, highest goal is liberation. And Vigate Icha Bhaya Krodha. Vigata means freed from, we already saw that. Icha, craving, Bhaya, fear, Krodha, anger. Vigate Icha Bhaya Krodha. Yak Sada Mukta Eva Saha, is always indeed liberated. So restraining the sense organs, the mind and the intellect, freed of craving, fear and anger, the Muni yogi, Muni here refers to yogi, with moksha as the highest goal, is always liberated. Okay, so far clear? So sparshan kritva bahir bhahyan, bhahyan kritva, that is shutting off or keeping them outside the sense, external sense objects. So then Krishna, so as I told already, uses the word yogi or muni in the last few shlokas for the person who's getting close to liberated. So person is not fully a jnani, but purified through karma yoga. First, initially there's karma, just actions we just do. Then actions become karma yoga. We do it with a certain intention, asana practice. Otherwise, it can look like jumping jacks, just like some acrobatic monkey jumps. No, that's karma. Then you do it with the intention, purifying yourself, eating properly, and doing it with regulating, with focus, that it becomes karma yoga. And then meditation. And then you go into study of the scriptures to understand what the Atma is. And so Krishna uses the yogi as the person, Sthita Prajna, one whose mind is ready. It's in this portion, very close to liberation. After that, very easy to get liberated. Then the last shloka of the chapter, Bhagavan says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shanti mruchati. Bhoktaram yajnas tapasam, knowing me as the receiver of all yajnas and tapas, all those go into the Brahman. Tapas is austerity. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, as the Lord of all worlds. Sarvaloka, all worlds. Maheshwara, the Lord. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, as the Suhridam, as a well-wisher of all beings, Sarva Bhutanam, all beings, Nyatva, Mam, knowing me, Tas, Mam, Shantim Ruchati, that person attains peace. Yajna, remember the definition, a great offering, an offering done for a greater good by sacrificing one's time, wealth, and comfort for a higher goal, for keeping in mind the prosperity of others, not selfish reasons. Okay. With this, we come to the end of the 5th chapter. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sampade Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Panchamodhyaya. Why is it called Karma Sannyasa Yoga? Simply because it started with Arjuna's question, and he asks about what is so Arjuna's question, Sannyasam Karpanam Krishna. So it starts with that. So it is the Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Okay, so that is this chapter. Now I sent a video because this chapter constantly talks about Atma is Akarta and Abhokta. Atma is Akarta and Abhokta. So did you get a chance to look at it? Anybody? Everybody's quiet?
Yeah, yeah. I looked at it. It was really beautifully explained. Really lovely.
Yeah, so since I think looks like others have not, so I will
Yes,
just,
even I looked at it. Well explained.
okay. I will very briefly, because it's such an important point, I will just very briefly go over that and then we will do the chanting. So, Atma is the observer. It is also called the Sakshi Tattvam. And it is neither Akarta, which means the doer of actions, nor the Bhokta. Atma Akarta Bhokta means reaper of the fruits of actions. So the question that will come is, where does all this stick to? And the answer given here is, it sticks to the Sukshma Sharira. We have 3 layers to our body. And there are different ways of classifying an individual. The biggest classification is Atma, Anatma, the consciousness and the inert principle. Anatma is anything other than consciousness. The mind is Anatma. It's called Chitta for that reason. Chit iva bhavayati chittam. It thinks it is alive, conscious, but it's the reflect. The moon thinks it is shining. The moon thinks I am providing light. No, the moon does not provide light. It's the light reflected from the sun. So the moon is not a luminous body, it is the sun. So like that, the mind, chittiva bhavayati chittam, it looks like it is shining, but it is the reflection from that screen which is illuminating everything, the whole entire body. It's called the reflected consciousness. We saw that in the previous one of those videos. So the classification of an individual can be on many types: men, women, young, old, short, tall, and in the Vedanta and Yoga, the individual is classified into three ways, 3 important ways: Shariratrayam, the 3 bodies, or Panchakosha, the 5 sheaths. The first one is based on raw material, and the second one is based on the personality or the quality. So it's the personality or the quality, physical, emotional. Then the avastatrayam, the 3 states of experience: waking, dream, and deep sleep. So the Sthula Shariram is our three bodies: gross body, which is tangible, all the blood, bone, everything. So all this are part of the gross body. Nothing gross about it. It's just called the gross body, or the tangible body. Then the subtle body, Sukshma Shariram, and then Karana Shariram, the causal body. This is the mysterious entity. And the koshas, there are different ways: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, different ways. And so when you're doing the classifications, there's, because it's different ways of classifying, sometimes, or you can say people who work out, people who don't work out. And then you can say people who have more muscle and people who have less muscle. Sometimes the people who have more muscle are also the people who work out. So there's linkage that happens, right? Connection. So similarly, Annamaya Kosha is the Stula Shariram. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya Kosha come under the Sukshma Shariram. Anandamaya Kosha is the causal body, the bliss body. And similarly, the three states which we talk about. And the Sushupti Avastha, deep sleep state, is the closest experience of the Karana Shariram. Now we will look very briefly at the Sthula Shariram. The way the Sthula Shariram is defined is, it is Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga item. It is like an office space for transacting with the world. And what is the rent you pay? Rent you already prepaid for this lifetime. And that rent is the punyam and the papam we did in the previous births. And what these transactions also create like profit, punyam and papam are neutral. Sukha dukkha adi bhoga ayatanam. And advance rent is previous janma, punyam and papam. Once the paid rent is over, the office space has to be vacated. You can't be there anymore. That is when the karma, it's the prarabdha karma, the one which is set into motion, prarabdha, one whose fruits have started. When that is exhausted, you leave the body. Sukshma Shariram leaves the body. Body is of no use. Sometimes it's very short. That's why I said people die in accident, because that body is needed only for a short time to exhaust some karma. So that's it, and then they go. Then the Sukshma Shariram looks for a new office space for transactions elsewhere. So it creates a new office space. Karmajanyam, the body is called Karmajanyam. It is based on the rent paid by these and the previous transactions. So what you're doing in your current life, that will determine the kind of office you have in the next, and the cycle continues. Who vacates the office? Atma doesn't vacate. It is the subtle body, and subtle body powered by the reflected consciousness. So the example that they will give in Vedanta traditionally is pots. So let's say half-filled pot. There are many half-filled pots. So in irrigation previously, they create bunds, but for these small crops, they'll take pots and put water. So they'll fill pots and keep it, fill from the well and keep it there. And all these pots have a reflected sun. That is the reflected consciousness. But there's only one sun, Brahman. There's only one Atma, but it's reflecting as little reflected suns in each pot. And what happens? So let's say the pot is half full. When the sun reflects, the inside of the pot becomes very visible, nice and bright. So you can see all the texture of the pot. So that's the reflected consciousness. That's what we talked about. It's the borrowed consciousness. And when you, let's say, you take the water and you pour it, the water is pouring, still there's light, the sun reflecting off that, right? Sometimes in a waterfall, you see the sun reflecting, just shining bright, right? Like that. When the water is transferred from one pot to another, still the reflected consciousness is there. That is what powers everything. So the Sukshma Shariram by itself is inert, it can't do anything. But it goes so in search of a body powered by this reflected consciousness. And it consists of 17 parts, the pranas, the 5 jnana indriyas, 5 karma indriyas, and the 2 or 4 parts of the mind. Punyam and papam cling to the subtle body, they don't cling to the Atma. So, and then finally comes the Karana Shariram. This is the most mysterious thing along with Atma. Okay? Even God, Ishvara, it's easy, it's form, all that, right? Atma is much more subtle and more difficult to understand than Ishvara. So, the best way to understand the Karana Shariram is to look at the durations. The gross body, the physical body, duration is one lifetime. We all know that. Duration of the subtle body is from Srishti to Pralaya, dissolution. Srishti, creation, dissolution. Duration of the causal body, it's ageless. It is only dissolved at moksha. And during the Pralaya, dissolution, the subtle body resolves into the causal body. It is like a seed. It's a seed for the causal and the gross body. The Karana Shariram is the seed for Stula Shariram and Sukshma Shariram. And the gross body is perceptible to us and to others. Sukshma Shariram is not perceptible to others. Your mind, others can't read it. Of course, some yogis can read it, but usually it is not. Portions of it are available for us. You can see the thoughts in your mind. You can feel your breath, your prana, all that. Closest experience of the Karana Shariram is deep sleep. And why is that? Because Karana Shariram is linked to ignorance. It is equivalent. The cycle of births and deaths, reason for that is ignorance. Similarly, as long as there is ignorance, there is samsara. As long as there is a Karana Shariram, there is samsara. And only when the ignorance is removed through knowledge, moksha occurs. Similarly, only when the Karana Shariram is dissolved, moksha occurs. So both ignorance and Karana Shariram dissolve at moksha. And ignorance is bliss. We saw Anandamaya Kosha, Anandam, happiness, that is the bliss body, that is the Karana Shariram. The closest experience of the Karana Shariram is deep sleep. We are born again and again because of the ignorance. Avidya kshetram uttaresham prasuptatanup vichinno dharanam. We saw that in the previous class. Avidya, ignorance, gets the top place. And all the birth, parinama tapa samskara dukkai gunavritti virodascha dukkameva sarpam vivekinaha. All this birth, it's just dukkam. Taking rebirth is sorrow. So the fifth sheath on the micro of this body, it's because this sheath is nothing but Karana Shariram and it's equivalent to ignorance. Okay, with that, we, okay, sorry, Anjan, I didn't see a question. Let me stop the recording and I will